Alright, so first, when we initially got the topic, we were kind of in a creative block because we all thought about it, we actually know what the topic is, and we have a general idea. But none of us actually thought it through about how to ever solve it, so it was interesting. We're team ignorance, and here's how we think it might actually help.
Now, before getting into anything, we started with a little research. We wanted to know what people know about this problem and to find the gaps in places. Now, we conducted a survey of random sampling, and we surveyed 86 people and interviewed some teachers who are active in different fields. And what we found out is there is indeed a problem, and it's serious. Now, majority believes that women are the people who are usually harassed online. Men get harassed too, but the harassment differs for each gender. But the types of harassment women face online are the sexual harassment, and they are stalked. 95.3% of the audience believe it is becoming a serious issue, and most of the people believe, overall everyone said educating and understanding the situation and effective inflected law will create a great start. Now, understanding the problem. We broke it down into 4 effects. Basically, they are built upon each other, and the causes which lead to these problems. The first one is frustration. I'm really sorry, I'm fighting a bad cold. Please excuse me. The first one is frustration. Everyone is frustrated in their life because of personal issues and the problems they have around them. But there are people who know how to deal with it. They are well educated, they are better aware of the situation, but there are people who don't understand or don't know how to deal with this problem, this frustration. So they are the ones who are already engaged in already existing problem, if teasing. And we also broke it down into 2 causes. The first one is gap in understanding. They don't understand they're doing something wrong. The other one is discouraged co-ed culture. This creates a separation between the 2 genders. Now, when they are introduced in the open nature of internet, they kind of get like very confused how to use it, and they misuse it by using the power of anonymity, and thus online harassment happens. Now, how this actually affects? Online harassment lowers a person's self-confidence. They feel sad or lonely, and they cannot explain someone how it is, how it feels, so it makes them more frustrated. It makes a negative cultural acceptance and association. People tend to think that internet is a bad place, and most of the people who are on internet are bad people. Now, in order to carry out our campaign effectively, we have to select the right target group. Our primary target group are the people lower middle and working class people. They're the ones who are actually relatively new to the idea of internet, so they don't know how to use it. They abuse it. The second one will be upper middle, and upper class. We need to make them understand better of their position and how their behavior will create an influence on others. In geographic segmentation, we are covering both urban and rural areas, as the topic we have in our hand is actually applicable to all of the people who have an access to the internet. And psychographic segmentation, except for the reformer, we are targeting all the classes based on their impact and interaction. This solution is a multi-tiered solution. Why a multi-tiered solution? Because problem includes majority of the population. We need the whole population to understand what is bad and what is right. The campaign aims to create widest possible reach to reduce lack of information, and the campaign aims to first inform so people can choose to reform. So that's the essence of the campaign, or the archetype that perfectly describes the nature of our campaign is the sage, a person who will show you the right path or will give you good advices, but will not force them on you, so that you can choose. That's how we derived our big idea. Our big idea is the choice of reformation through information. Why? Because people largely believe that this happens, lack of awareness awareness, people are ignorant of the consequences of their actions. Many people do not know the extent of their abilities and responsibilities they have as a person on the internet. People can still choose, we understand that people can still choose to be irresponsible, but they can be held accountable once we aware them. Victimized people need to understand this is not fair and they have to take the proper means to defend themselves. And the victims also need to understand that misusing these laws could have consequences. So how does it work?
So to understand it better, we need to look at our primary objectives. Our primary objective is to educate the people about good behavior on internet. It's like, and followed by what kind of behavior actually impact others, like sexual harassment, how this impact on others' lives, and when they are educated about the proper behavior on internet, we will actually make them understand that. How serious it is, and action can be taken against. And after that, we will go our secondary objective. Our secondary objective is to make a society where people are more willing to take action against the abuser, and they are more willing to talk about the thing openly. And this will help us to attain the goal is create a safer environment for women internet user. And our campaign name is S2, Sotya Samata. Tagline is Shuddha Gyane Sothik Prakash. This will actually help us into three things. It's like it is easy to remember. It goes with our Bangla campaign name, and it sounds sexual neutral. And to better understand that, the strategy is classified under 4 steps: awareness, facilitate the right environment, encourage people to take actions, and express of before and after. First, we need to create awareness among the people how this kind of things affects other life, and after that we need to facilitate the right environment for them. Then we need to encourage people to take action. If we are affected by sexual harassment, then you need to seek help of other law enforcement people. And after that, we have a campaign of highest law to show the development of the campaign. And to create awareness, we have chosen many steps, and one of them is like leaflet. A leaflet can go a long way, but it has to be in right hand at the right time. And we created our leaflet in a way that people can find it more attractive. And this leaflet will contain guidelines like 10 best practices on internet, and about the laws, and how you will be accountable if you do something that hurts others. And curse triggers. And we tend to spend a lot of time on traffic jams, and a curse trigger will give us high level of exposure and durable and mobility of the message. And education materials. And learning is a continuous process, and if we can promote our campaign on education materials, it will actually help us to create awareness and exposure in early junior students.
Alright, so we got that down, but let's go on with a bit more awareness. We can do the TVC, as you saw. We're going to make a better version of that and put it in. But this is just for the general public, and it will be timed in specific places, and it will be targeted to their secondary group, so that they become more aware of the subject. And more important than that, we should focus on the RDC, because a lot of people these days do spend an awful lot of time listening to radio, and a lot of people do spend a lot of time stuck in traffic. And when they do, they have the mobile net with them, and they can actually interact and act if we can get the right message. The TVC, the RDC will be an extract from the TVC with additional messages to act as things follow. Well, if we do the awareness thing, but we need to have the right environment to act. Otherwise, nothing's going to take place. So, how can this be done? First of all, we need to realize that we need to closely work with the public counselors. Like people need to be in the universities and they need to know that, all right, this is okay to talk about. One easy way to get this done is to have teachers be encouraged on the subject. Let's use S2 as an example. Let's them talk about it so it becomes more easier for them. Teachers and counselors also need to provide solutions if students do come up with problems. A lot of times, a student might not be willing to go to their family, but they might be willing to go to their teachers, to their classmates. So overall, if the education sector, if they're more aware, they'll be more willing to face this issue. Moving on, it's not only fair that you have the right environment, you also have the right tools. So we made an app called the S2 app, and what it does is basically helps you keep track of your harassment. Say someone's going to harass you and someone is harassing you, it keeps track of all the digital footprints it keeps in. That means all the conversation, the messages, they all get kept on, and you can later file a case against it if required. It also provides the best practice values, what can be done, what you should do, and it does one other thing. Suppose you are writing something violent, writing something that might be a bit offensive, it's going to give you a notification based on those keywords, and it's going to tell you, you're going to write something offensive. Are you sure you want to take action? Because we want people to think twice before they do anything. To attract the rural part of the population, we're going to do like more hands-on approach, and that's Jatra, making people understand more through things they appreciate, like puppet shows and shadow things. Basically, we want to show not only that there are options they can pursue, but also good things can be done with the internet, and we'll get back to that later. There will be some certain enacting of poems, so we better enforce the message, and ultimately we want to encourage the elders to talk about it more openly, so there will be no preconcept and judgment. The website will be the platform of our campaign, and it's pretty important because it will be interconnected with the app. It can be viewed both in English and Bangla, and there will be moderators. Say some situation is getting out of hand, and they can actually call this moderator. All right, how can I deal with the situation? And most importantly, it will be a monitoring mechanism to check if the actions that are taken are being helpful. So, followed by that, we'll have a short film story where we'll have a guest judge, and basically the purpose of this is to have a cleverly held user-generated content. So later on, people get to appreciate it at the end of the year. Maybe if people themselves tell their stories about harassment and they're told through different lenses, we'll have a better understanding of how the things are proceeding. Another thing that we can do is not only focus on the bad, but also the good. How about if you have a site that focuses on the positive campaigns, the positive things can be done? The important thing to take from here is there will be 6 projects every year, and they'll be democratically chosen by the public. And they're going to tell where the money should go, so people can help out. Lastly, all of this will be in a vacuum if no one hears it. So here, it has to be done through a ginormous event, and this event will have satire plays, those user-generated content, and media exposure, and a concert, and everything, so that people know what is coming and what is not.
Well, for the project, we have allocated a budget of around 4 crore taka, where we'll be emphasizing mainly on the in-campus activation, where we're investing in 1 crore taka, and then second of all, we'll be giving second priority on the Jatra that I already discussed by people, where we'll be investing around 70 lakh taka. And the lastly but not the least, the mass media awareness that we are trying to get through the TVC and the radio signal, that will be, we have allocated around 58 lakh taka investment in this type of mass media advertisement. And we have also created a timeline depending on the effectiveness of each of the campaigns. So we have decided that the website and the application will have a constant throughout the whole year. And on the other side, the projects, on the other side, we have also decided that the general source of informing the people will be done in the first 3 months of the projects, and then the in-campus activation will be done before the start of each and every semester, and only 3 times in a year, and it will be informed through the radio communication. And last but not least, we will be done during the short film festival and so forth.
Thank you. I have fundamental confusion about my secretary. The way you have presented it seems like you can just start doing opportunity to the people that you don't. We also after the percentage, which is somewhere 20 to 40% of people, of children who get several units, are being bullied by someone they know. In your case, you seem to have ignored the entire population, that segment, particular segment is missing from your presentation. It seems like they don't exist, so you don't need to do anything about them.
Sir, that's a really interesting question. But the thing is, we wanted to focus on, like, say, the accountability part. Like we wanted to make sure that people knows the rules. That's why the campus activation got the priority. Like we will have lots of in-campus activation so the teachers know, everyone knows, all right? So everyone knows that if you cross the line, like if you're like sexually harassing one of your teammates, even if you know them closely or you don't, you can be held accountable. Thing is, they can still choose to, but there should be measures. There should be always a choice. I don't think we can actually force people to reduce, and that was a problem we all had. I don't think there's any force mechanism over here, because if you force it, it's not going to work. It has to come from them. So we believe that it's better if they know about the accountability, and that way they can react. See, you know, there are laws against killing people, but murders are still going to happen. People are still going to commit murders. The crimes are going to happen. There are laws. But if people know better about it, they'll be more aware. But okay, there are restrictions. But some people are going to cross it. So
you don't think that fear of punitive actions might have an effect on the number of people that engages in cyberbullying?
So could you repeat the question?
So for example, you said that you don't want to force people.
Right.
Do you think that you have a fear of punitive actions? For example, they said being held accountable and also taking corrective, let's say, like punishment, punitive actions would help you out in reducing cyberbullying.
Let me just ask you, just so that I'm clear. Are you concerned about like those people who are more violent, like as in?
For example, let's say I'm trying to stop you or let's say I'm bullying you online.
Right.
Would you think that I have a fear of offline reprisal? For example, let's say this was coming on my course in what will you do?
Okay, sir. Here's where. I'm not going to go back. So remember when you talked about the app, and over there, I'm sorry, we were kind of short on time, but over there we wanted to explain about the digital footprint and the digital face. So what happens is over there, we clearly want to get out everywhere, right? Whatever you do online can be easily tracked through digital footprint and traces. Traces happens, suppose when you send someone an email over there in the server, they'll get the time, date, and da-da-da-da. But when you actually send the file, suppose you're sending a provocative picture of someone, all right, it actually gets uploaded to the cloud. The cloud is actually a solid server somewhere, all right? So certain sites and certain social media, particularly, they actually have the laws, like, if the law enforcement asks for it, they can do it. Thing is, these things will be pronounced, okay? Like, you can be held accountable, okay? And the app, how it helps is basically when you are being harassed, say you want to mark this person, and it's going to keep marked. So all the conversation that he's having, it's marked. So if you want to take action, say you think it is going too far, you can actually ask the authorities for help. But it's like you need to understand the severity of it. Like say, it's the same problem FBI has. There's like a million threats they get, but they need to prioritize. So which one I should prioritize? So I'm guessing women also get millions of threats, but they need to prioritize. All right, this should be done. Otherwise, we're going to have a system that's going to be like over diluted, and it's not going to focus, and people are going to be like it's a common thing, and we don't want that. We want people to know that it's a serious thing, but there are ways to deal with it. That's why the big idea, like the choice of reformation through information.
I could not to give some practical example this is about science. There are so many things like owning the face. There are so many examples of that, including cyber crimes. Some recent examples.
I'm sorry, I'm like a bit sick and dehydrated, so I really can't hear. I couldn't hear you properly. I'm sorry.
I could give some practical example. What we are trying
the practical example of cyberbullying. All right, so say she gets cyberbullied a lot, but thing is she gets cyberbullied a lot. Yeah.
Why kidnapping?
Oh, we didn't give it away. We could have. We were kind of pressed on time. It was.
Okay. And about tagline, again, I think it's not really very appealing. Do you think this type of tagline should get?
All right, sir. Here's where. Yes, sir.
Do you think it will attract the people who need to be attracted?
Here's the thing, sir. I don't think the tagline is going to catch on.
It looks like very, like Dr.
I know. Exactly. This is why we chose specifically S2. We didn't want the tagline. We didn't want a bundle word. We just wanted a symbol that if you see somewhere, you'll be able to recognize it. Say if you see the antivirus symbol, you will know. Okay, this is that. So. Ultimately, I don't think this is going to catch on. I don't think I know the Kaspersky tagline. I don't even know what that is. But it's ultimately the symbol. That's what we focused on.
Something on that. So you can go in the logo and
way, the tagline that you use normally in what it has that's just deal with the problem.
Correct.
Here the way it looks to me, if I take concept, Shukta Shamasta Shukta Short means more like I don't have the right knowledge, okay, of the expressive right.
Correct.
So, Shukta Short focus, the right knowledge and the right expression. That's how it seems to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can have the same thing, but there has to be connection with the problem. That problem is not here. So if you are not attracted by the tagline, for example, to build the leaflet.
I think there's some.
Stand by it.
Yeah. I think I'll just add one thing. I think there's a problem with us there as well because we were more focused on the solution.
No, that's right.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.